Hey, good day, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. Welcome to the Marketing Execution 10X Commandments webinar with myself and Mr. 10X Glenn Torres himself. What up, 10X? How are you
How we
today?
doing, everybody? Great to be here with you guys.
Hey, it's great to be here with you, man. And I know we were here last week. We did a webinar, and man, we just got so much good feedback on that webinar last week. You said, we got to just keep doing this, baby. You know what? By the way, 10X, you see the old 10X diamond medallion there, bro. We're not playing around this week. So we're going to bring it. That's the goal here, is to bring it. And we're going to bring you these 10X commandments. And so we're going to start pouring into you as people continue to pile in. So let's get started, bro. Do we need to waste any more time or what, man? Let's just get into it.
There's no need. There's no need.
Because what is Grant? Grant says money follows attention, but then time is money, bro.
Let's go.
Right? Time is money,
and I
man.
want to share something that you just did. We did this last week. We got good feedback, and if something works, let's just do it again. So let's go.
Oh man, you're jumping ahead, man. Come on, bro. You're jumping ahead on us. So, all right, well, let's get into this, man. This is this is what I love. So you guys are in the marketing execution workshop, but the 10X marketing commandments, which is just one part of this amazing 2-day workshop. If you ever have the opportunity to take it, I would highly, highly encourage. So just a little bit about me. Name's David Hill. I'm 40 years in sales. I spent my last 2 years in coaching and training, to be honest with you. I'm so used to saying I spent my last 20 in real estate, but before that, I was 18 years selling residential real estate. I sold a lot of homes, over 1,100 homes, which put me in the top 100 at Keller Williams. I was also a Keller Williams University instructor. So I had the privilege of going around the country and teaching for them in different regions. So I just really loved doing that, and opened up to me a passion of mine to go out, teach, train. I love it. Nothing better, Glenn, for me than when I teach a class, or I go to maybe do a workshop, and somebody shows up after and says, hey, because of your workshop, I did this, or because of this happened for me. And that's what I live for, brother. I also have, the Path to Mastery podcast. Listen to this, Glenn. We just released this week, episode 314. 314 episodes. Gary V has been on the show. Mel Robbins. We've had Grant Cardone twice. Our boy Grant, the man himself. I've had Chris Voss, the FBI hostage negotiator, twice. Brian Tracy. So many awesome people have been on my podcast. And hey, listen to this. Next week, we got Rich Franklin coming. I don't even know if you know who he is. Rich Franklin was my idol guy. When I just had a phone call with Rich Franklin yesterday. It's crazy. He was like my hero when I first started watching UFC back in 2011. He was the middleweight champion, and he's going to be, I had a call with him yesterday. It's wild. He's going to be on my podcast on next Monday. So just super, super cool things happening. So that's what I love, man. But enough about me, Glenn. Let's actually talk about you, man. And
very quickly, my name is Glenn. I am the CEO of Infinite Marketing Agency. Also, I am a Grant Cardone licensee, and I am one of the 16 10X elite coach and mentors. Just like David, we are coaching gratefully Grant Cardone's customers directly. Why? Because we are certified, we're knowledgeable, and we have the expertise to do so. My goal and what I like to do is help business owners in avoiding years of mistakes and thousands of wasted dollars. So it allows you to rapidly expand your business beyond your expectations. Let's get started.
Well, bro, something's wrong here. Because check this out. You look at my slide, right? And this is, this is what it shows, right? And then you look at your slide, you look at your slide, and it's like, come on, man. I
gotta hook you up.
My assistant needs to help me out a little bit here, man. I mean, come on, man. You're making me look bad, bro. But anyway, listen, you're all here for not for Glenn's slide, but for the 10X commandments of marketing. We're going to go through these for you pretty quickly. We're going to keep moving. And then at the end, we're going to open it up to questions. We're going to have some fun here today. And I really want to hear your questions as well. So as we're going through, think about your questions. Okay. So let me jump to the first one. One thing we want to let you know, and one of the things I think that holds so many of us up is that P word, And what it stands for is perfection.
Mm,
Okay, like we want everything to be perfect. We think it's got to be perfect. Everything we say has got to be perfect. Our hair, clearly my hair's not going to be perfect, but everything needs to line up or we don't take action. And here's
yeah.
what I'm going to tell you. Don't worry about being perfect because your competition isn't even doing this yet. The majority of your competitors aren't even doing it. So the key here is just get out there and don't worry, man. The only way you're going to get good at something, we were talking about this morning, Glenn, on our huddles, the only way we can get good at stuff is just to keep doing it. So you remember, hold on, let me just turn this camera off for a minute. I just want you to know that you need to get out there and take action because your competition sucks at it too. So don't worry about that. Glenn, you got anything to say on this?
Absolutely. I mean, all you got to do is, like David says, just go out there. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just keep going out there. Just share with the world, with your prospect, with your friends, with your power line, just with your power base. Just share how is that you help, what is that you do, and who do you do it for, and just keep doing it. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just put it out there because your competition is not doing it. So automatically it differentiates you, it puts you on the top just by taking action.
Yeah, I love that, man. Amazing. And listen, here's, I mean, I think I see this so much, Glenn, is so many people just get hung up on this particular point and they end up doing nothing. And I really, if there's one thing I think that I want everybody to take from this today is really just don't get stuck on this particular point. I want you to keep moving forward with this. Okay. All right. So listen, again, the competition's terrible. Don't worry about it. All right. So commandment number one, Glenn, you see the slide? It says commandment number one, money follows. Just want to make sure we're looking at the same thing here.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So money follows attention. So what does that mean? So Grant talks about this all the time. Grant says, I'd rather have 1 million followers than $1 million. And I'll be honest, Glenn, man, I'll be honest. I struggled with this a little bit myself at first because I'm like, you know what? I'll take that milli, man. I'll be all right. But then I started to really understand. So I'm going to ask you guys all to get a calculator out. And I want you to understand the numbers here. Seriously, it's important. So now if you have 1 million followers, let's just say your conversion, I mean, if you're awesome at sales, congratulations. You probably have a 25% conversion rate from internet leads, right? That would be like probably the best possible case scenario. Well, let's just say 10%. Let's say you're getting a 10% conversion from social media or internet type based leads, right? What would that be from 1 million? That's 100,000. So Glenn, let's just say you have simply a $10 product, which anybody can afford. And you have 100, let's say in 1 million, Glenn, I'm not just talking about bots, brother. I'm not talking about like bots, like go out and buy paid followers, like a lot of people do. I'm talking about real people that are engaged in what you're doing and are fans of you, trust you, know you, like you. And you're going to do better than 10, but even if 10%, if you put out, let's just say, forget about a $10 product. What if it's a $20 product? You just made $2 million, Glenn. It's insane, right? Now, let's just say you're absolutely terrible at sales. Like your skills are just the worst. You're just a straight out mess when it comes to sales. You're a good guy. Your fans love you. They're engaged, but you're scared to death to even ask someone to buy something, right? So you go and you just talk about something. And let's just say your fans don't even know you got something to sell, but they're like, I like you so much. I just want to buy something from you. And you start talking about $100 workshop you got. Now, what would that be, Glenn? What's 1% of 1 million? How many is that?
We have 1% of 1 million.
Glenn, it's 10,000, brother. 10,000. Now, let's say you have a $100 product. You're talking about $99 product. You don't even like to sell. You're just a worse salesman, but you just start talking about it. With 1 million people, what's 1% times, what's $99 times 10,000, Glenn?
It will be $1 million.
It's ridiculous. That is exactly why we need to find those followers, right? We need to get that attention. That's more important. Here's a perfect example, Glenn, and I'm going to toss it over to you. The Kardashians. right? The Kardashians, I have no idea who they were, never even heard of them before. All of a sudden they pop up, they got this TV show, they're blowing up. My wife's watching it. I'm like, what is happening? And they became billionaires, right? That's what grit teaches us. We need to first get attention. I've got so many stories about this, but I want to toss it over to you so you can share, elaborate. Do you have anything to add to this one? Or do we want to just jump to the next slide?
Let's go to the next one.
All right, perfect. So number one, money follows attention. Number two is
Ooh, best known always beats best. Like we all know McDonald's, right? They don't have the best burger. We all know that. But
come on, man. My
I'm pretty
5-year-old,
sure.
dude, my
Listen, I'm pretty
5-year-old
sure
Penelope would tell me they have the best burger going, bro.
I know, but this is just that simple. I'm pretty sure that all of us over here together can build an amazing burger, juicy, cheesy, that it drips in your face and it's just delicious, but nobody knows that. So my point is you have to become the best known in your market. You have to become the leader of your industry so people know that, you know, they'll buy for you. You establish a connection. So that's why best known beats the best product. So that's why McDonald's beats everybody else, even though they don't have the best product, but they are the best known. What do you got about that, David?
Listen, years ago there was a test done. They took a fictitious real estate agent, like somebody's not like fictitious, not a real person. And this is true. You can go look it up. NAR did this, I believe it was in the 90s. And they went into a neighborhood and they took a couple thousand houses and they started sending postcards every month from a fake real, not even a real person. And then they went and they literally put out like signs here and there. And they put like all the things that the realtors do, like benches, and wasn't even a real person. And they did it for a year. And then, my numbers may not, my story may not be exactly precise, but this did happen. Okay. So you can fact check for yourself, but this is the real deal. Okay. So then they went a year later and they surveyed the whole area that they did this in. And 80% of the people, when they said, who's the top realtor in this area, 80% of the people picked a fictitious realtor. Okay. And the person didn't even exist. Like nobody even met him. They just saw his name so much, keep coming up everywhere. It was on the buses. It was in the postcards, on the benches. It's crazy, right? Like that's amazing. That's exactly what we're talking about best known always beats best. All right, let's jump to the next one. Okay, I love this one too, man. Just have to assume nobody sees it, Glenn. That's what we're talking about right now. Assuming nobody sees it. What do you want to say about that?
Absolutely. I mean, when you operate from the mentality that nobody sees it, when you assume nobody sees what you're doing, you just got to do more. It's simple. If you assume that nobody sees what you're doing, it will allow you to double down in your marketing, and it will allow you to just be omnipresent. What do you think about that?
Well, I think, I think a friend of mine, his name's Bob Monsell, it was my birthday not too long ago. And what did Bob do is, I ran into him and he's like, and I was talking to him like, Bob, man, you didn't even send me a cigar. You didn't do anything. Normally we would hang out. He's like, oh, it was your birthday. I was like, dude, like, how do you not know it was my birthday? Like I have like 600 people on social media wished me a happy birthday. And he's just like, bro, you're my boy, but I don't know, man. I'm not on there that much anymore. Like, so we think everybody's seen it, Glenn. Same thing with emails. I don't know about you, man, but I get so many emails. What do those emails do? They go into promotion. They go into spam. They go into the junk box. Man, Grant alone sends me like 8-9 emails a day. I may look at one of them.
Yep.
So I got to assume nobody's seeing it. So what does that tell me, Glenn? It tells me do more. That's the solution here. Got to do more. Have to assume nobody's even seeing my stuff and I got to do more of it, Glenn. All right, let me jump to the next one, Glenn. Let me jump to the next one here, okay? What's this one here?
Ooh. Attention is the most valuable currency. What does that mean? It goes back to the first one. Money follows attention. Once you get attention, you get known. People will flow you. If nobody knows you, they can flow you. They will not buy from you. They don't trust you. They don't know what you do. They don't know where you know who you help. So you need to get attention in order to establish a communication between you, your followers, your friends, and your prospects. So get attention in order to communicate what is that you want to deliver to the community, to the prospects, to your friends and family. So you need to get attention.
Yeah, I'm thinking about our licensee calls. We're both Cardone coaches and licensees, Glenn. And, on the calls, I always raise my hand. You know that. I'm going to say this, but I think sometimes the people leading the calls get mad. They're like, I want someone else to share, but I don't care what they want. If they say who has a win, I raise my hand and share. Why? Because I want the attention. Like now it's amazing how many licensees are reaching out to me. Like, hey, I got this opportunity. Hey, I got this. Would you be interested in partnering with me with this? Why? Because I always stand out on the call. And by the way, who did I have on my podcast last month? Mr. Grant Cardone himself. Why? Because I always stand out on the call. I had Grant's attention. He knows who I am. That's critical. All right. Grant says this. He says, it doesn't matter who you know, it's who knows you. Think about the club, right? I remember back in the day, we'd go to the Roxy in Boston and, we would pay the guys at the door $50 or $100 to let us skip the line. Okay. So that was cool. They knew us. They knew we were going to give them some loot. But think about this, like you can go to the club and if the guy inside knows you, like, hey, I'm John and I know the manager. They're like, all right, yeah. Hey, wait right here, John. We'll go see if we can find the manager. Hang tight for a minute while he's standing there for 20 minutes, right? Because he knows the guy inside. Now, all of a sudden, we come walking up, the guy at the door knows us. Oh, Dave, all right, yeah, there you go, brother. Come on in, right? Like, I'm in the club. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm just using club as an example. But this is everywhere in life, guys. This is everywhere in life. You're out there looking for prospects. You're out there looking for business. Right? You give them a call. They're like, oh, yeah, I see your stuff everywhere, man. Oh, I see you on bulletin boards. I see you on social media. I've seen your ads on my Instagram. We got so much business because we just keep showing up everywhere, Glenn. Everywhere. So let me jump to the next one, number 5. I think this is a really, really important one, too. This is one of my favorites, Glenn. What are your thoughts on repeating successful actions? You actually talked about that earlier.
I did. I jump ahead. You were right. Repeat successful actions. This is very simple. When you're doing marketing, right? And you post something and people engage with your post, with your message, with what you're sharing, why not do it again? Why change it? It's that simple. When something works, just do it 100 times, 200 times. Just double down in the successful actions. That's what I got on that.
Yeah, I mean, this is not a complicated one, Glenn. It's just you know what? That worked. Do it again.
Yeah.
I think we all try to overcomplicate things. I ran this campaign on Facebook a few months back, and literally, and here's what didn't click till after, Glenn. Listen, I gotta stop I gotta look at you for this. I had 9 people back channel DMing me to send them a document. Like, and in my mind, I'm thinking, well, I wish I got more. Like, I only had like 30 or 40 people commented on the post or liked it. And 9 people back channeled me like, hey, send me this message. And in my mind, I'm like, oh God, it didn't really do enough. And I'm thinking like, well, hold on a minute. That's 9 people.
Yeah.
That just jumped in. So I got to pay attention to that. Like, that's successful. I got to keep doing that, Glenn.
I agree.
Okay, if that generates 9 people, imagine what happens the next time and then the next time, and then you get better at it. So that's what I'm talking about. When things work, do it again. You go out there, you say something to a client. Like, let's say you're in the closing process, because we talk a lot about this in our sales. You're in the closing process and you use a line like have you heard enough information to make a decision? And the person is like, yeah, you know what? Then do it again.
Yeah.
Or if you use a 28-day, like we had a hassle-free program when I was selling real estate. I used that hassle-free program once with a for sale by owner and it worked. I was like, oh man, that worked. So then I took that hassle-free program, I started using it everywhere. Next thing you know, our business blew up. We went from closing 65 sides to 120 sides. All of a sudden, we were meeting with people going against other agents, and we were getting a listing every time because we had the hassle-free program. It's crazy. Craziness. Yeah, by the way, we'll open it up at the end for questions. All right. We'll definitely open it up at the end for questions. All right. So number 6 is going to be speed is senior to quality.
Yes.
Fun.
We talked about this earlier, starting the market, the seminar today. Speed is senior to quality. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can literally just grab your phone. This is one of the best tools you can have right now for your marketing. You can literally just grab your phone, shoot a quick video, shoot it, just share your message. How is that you help? Don't even look at it, post it, and repeat the same action 10 times a day, 20 times a week, or as many as you want to. But speed is senior to quality. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just get it done and just put it out there.
Glenn, you know what? This one just drives me nuts, brother. I used to run a real estate business and I ran an office. I ran a Keller Williams office with 500 agents, Glenn. 500. There was 3 of us running this office with 3 locations, and these agents would come in, man, and they would be, I gotta get my flyer right. My flyer's got to, like, they'll come in, they'll spend their first 30 days trying to make sure their flyer's perfect, their website set up. They know exactly how to fill out a disclosure form, and they never do any business. Like they make no money, and then all of a sudden they're way behind because the real estate cycle is like 45 to 90 days. Now they can't make any money. They leave the business because instead of getting in there and just going to work, get out there, start talking to people, start talking to other potential clients. That's what the business is about. Not doing paperwork, not worrying about flyers, not making sure you can run the perfect open house. Just get out there and go to work, Glenn. That's what we're talking about right now.
I agree 100%.
I mean, I feel like it's insane sometimes.
It happens a lot.
It happens all the time, brother. All right. Next one here is marketing is senior to sales. One of my favorites. One of my absolute favorites from Grant.
Go for it, David. What do you think about this one?
Well, listen, it's the biggest mistake I made. It's also the biggest mistake Grant teaches you that he made. He said before right now, you guys know his net worth is in the billions. Before that, it was in the millions. Why? Because he wasn't marketing. So for me, it's a grind. Like I can keep grinding. Like I don't know that anybody can outgrind me, to be honest with you. I'm a grinder. I always have been. I've been on the phones for 40 years. But then that only gets you so far. You're at a ceiling. But now when you market the right way, you can duplicate yourself. You can duplicate your efforts. You can be in front of people while, you're at home sleeping, but they're seeing your ads. They're getting your message as opposed to me one-off calling people. Or maybe, I have a few sales reps, which we did in the past, but still nothing's going to beat the marketing. Anything you want to add to that particular point, Glenn?
Absolutely. Marketing is senior to sales. And what I think, my opinion on that, once you market enough, you become omnipresent. You become the leader on the space. You become the person to go to. That builds trust. So when somebody is seeing you, that you market continuously your services, your products, how is that you help? Who do you help? It builds trust in the process. So when a prospect is looking at what you're doing, they automatically think like this: wow, this gentleman is disciplined, he's committed, he knows what he's doing. And if I do business with him, most likely he will treat my business like he does with his. So it makes the sales process easier.
Did you say trick business or treat business, Glenn?
Treat.
Sound like you said he was going to trick the business.
No, treat.
I'm with you, brother.
That's my accent. I apologize. That's my accent. But
I'm with you, man. I'm messing with you, my friend. All right, good. The next one, number 8, frequency comes before greatness. One of my favorites, man. You just got to show up. Like, listen, we were talking about this morning on the call. Listen, the first time I handed my daughter a softball, like I handed she's 10 now, but back then, I think we had her stop playing softball at 8. Man, I handed her the glove and the ball. She had no clue. Like she had the glove on backwards. She didn't know how to throw the ball. She tried to throw it. It would go sideways. I mean, it was just a mess, right? But we just kept showing up. I just kept going out and practicing with her in the yard. I kept practicing with her. Next thing you know, all of a sudden she can catch the ball in the glove. She knows how to throw it. And remember at first she would throw it and she's crazy. Like I'd be like 10 feet away from her and she'd throw it as hard as she can. I'd be like, what's wrong with you? Like she just didn't know, you know what I mean? Then after a while, she got really good, you know, because we kept practicing. We see this the same thing all the time with people. Like there's this guy Armando in our group, and Armando's great. I mean, he lets me use him as an example because he'll tell you when he first came into the group, he was horrible on the phones, man. He didn't know how to talk to people. He wasn't sure what to say. He was nervous. And I mean, you've heard Armando now, Glenn, man.
Yes,
He's probably just one of the strongest in our group on the phones.
He
18 months.
Yep.
Yeah, 18 months, bro. He just kept showing up. Even when he was embarrassed, he kept showing up. Even when he got hung up on, he kept showing up. Even when people said, don't call me again, man. Take me off your list. He kept showing up. Frequency, baby.
I love that, man.
You want to add anything to that particular point?
Oh, I'll let you handle this one because I know this is one of your favorite ones. No one thing can blow a deal.
Well, tell me, I want to hear from you though, man, on that. Tell me about that.
The way that I see this is the thing. I mean, you're committed, you're disciplined, you're marketing, you're getting out there, you're getting followers, you're getting prospects, you're getting in the phone calls, you're presenting your services, you're sharing how is that you can help the people solve the problems. But then what happens? You don't ask for the sale. So don't be afraid. That's the way I see it. Not one thing can blow a deal. So going back to what David said earlier, it's as simple of asking for the sale. Have you heard enough to make a decision?
Oh, love that.
That's it. It cannot blow the deal. You already spent all that time and all that effort presenting, seeing how can you help them, and you're not going to ask for the sale? Come on.
Glenn, we got to practice, bro. Like I have people that are telling me, hey, I'm all set, man. I don't even want to buy what you got. And I'm still saying, well, have you heard enough information to make a decision? And they're like, what? I'm like, bro, have you heard enough information? I understand you don't want to buy this. Then let's talk about something else, right? Because no one thing, we're so worried about not getting a deal, like offending someone or like you got no deal. You have nothing to lose. Like keep asking, man. I remember this guy, I'm not going to say his name because some of you know him, but he was running a whole team. I met with him and his team was not following up. And their conversion was at like 50%, and they needed it higher. They needed it at 75, 80%, and they were not following up. And we went through this whole process. And at the end, you know, he's like, okay, we need time to think about it. I'm like, time to think about it. He's like, yeah, my partner and I, blah, blah, blah. And his partner was on the phone. I'm like, bro, come on, man. This is why we're meeting. I've sent you this. He's like, no, this is how we do it. And he got all fired up. So if I'm like, all right, man, what? I just knew it wasn't going anywhere in that moment. So I let him off the phone. I sent him a SMS the next day. I'm sorry. As soon as I hang up, I send him SMS. Hey, it was nice meeting with you guys. Appreciate the opportunity. I'll be in touch soon. Nothing. Right. Next day, I sent him a message in the morning. Nothing. Send an email. Nothing. Call. Nothing. Guys, this went on for 7 days. Every single day, I'm sending a text message, an email, and call. Like no one thing kills a deal. Day 8, he answers the phone. Dude, what the F? Like, this is how he answers the phone. I'm like, bro, you're on the phone, right? He starts laughing. He's like, well, I would never do that. And I was like, well, that's exactly why your sales are at 50%, bro, like you said.
Because they're not doing what you're willing to do. That's why he was upset. That's why he was upset, because he realized that his team is not doing what you're doing.
No. And you know what the coolest thing about it, Glenn, is he signed the next day. It was my biggest contract at the time. 3 months of consulting with his team for $7,500.
That's amazing.
Okay, that was my biggest contract at the time. Signed the next day, hired us. Bang. Boom. No one thing kills. Now, I could have been like, oh, man, what if I upset him? Oh, gosh, I may offend him. And, oh, he'll never. He wasn't doing business with me anyway. Maybe he was even testing me. Who knows? But
Which happens.
No one thing kills the deal. That's my philosophy, man. I'm okay with that. All right. And listen, the final one, and we're going to open it up for questions. Glenn, this is your favorite, man. This is the one you always talk about.
Man.
This is the one you always talk about right here.
Oh, be omnipresent. It's the only way to be. If you want to be the leader on your industry, if you want to be the best known in town, if you want to be the person to go to, you have to be omnipresent. You have to be committed. You have to be disciplined. You have to share what is that you do, your services, how do you help, who do you help every single day, 365 days a year. And that will make you omnipresent.
Yeah, man. A few years back, we were working when I was still selling real estate. We were working this condo project, and we had a buyer looking to move into the area because his son was going to UMass Medical, and we sent out a handwritten letter to the condo association, only 44 units, and we got a few people that responded, but they didn't really have any interest in selling. So then we launched a postcard campaign every month. Okay, went for 7 months. Every month they got a postcard with, "Hey, we're the Shrewsbury Street condo experts," and then at the same time I did ringless voice drops, okay, which we don't do anymore. At the time we were doing them, and then we were calling. We sent out another letter. We took all the people that lived in the building and we put them in a custom audience, and we targeted them with Facebook ads and Instagram ads. Okay. And we did everything. And we were sending emails. And you know what the people were saying? You know what the people said when they talked to them? When I finally talked to them, they were like, "Man, we just see you guys everywhere." Like, wow, like, dude, you guys came out of nowhere. Like all of a sudden we were everywhere. I'm like, yeah, we are everywhere.
You
We
build
are
that trust.
everywhere. And here's the coolest thing, Glenn. We took out of 4 sales in the whole building, we handled 3 of them. Insane. Same as I said earlier, when you talked about the McDonald's, everybody knows me, right? Everybody in the building knew us. So people actually, as a matter of fact, the last one, they called us. We didn't even call them. She called us and was like, "Hey, we want to find out what this thing is worth." That's being omnipresent.
Wow.
That's what we
amazing.
created. So I'll tell you what, if no matter what you're selling, when you put this kind of marketing in front of your sales, in front of your calls, in front of your being proactive, it just makes life easier for you and it makes it more effective. That's what I learned. That's what I've learned. I'll tell you. Then that's it. Those are your 10x commandments right there. Those are the 10x commandments we're talking about today. See, that's it. This is not complicated stuff. No one thing's going to blow a deal. No, be omnipresent. That's it. So I want to share a quick story with you guys, and then we're going to open it up for questions. We're doing great on time. I want to go through the story as fast as so listen, a few years back, I joined a group of CEOs when I was running my real estate business. We were a top producing team. So it was, we all met in Burlington, Vermont for our first meeting. And at the first meeting, the guy, Adam, that was running the group, he had challenged all of us with 3 health tracks. We could do yoga, which is high intensity interval training, or an Ironman race. And the Ironman race sounded ridiculous. That was like, that's stupid. Like, there's no way I'm doing that. And then the yoga was just like, that's super wimpy. My wife's a yoga instructor, so I'm not doing yoga. I'll do the high intensity interval training. So anyway, I signed up for that. At the end of the 3 days, Adam just kept bugging everybody. So everybody had to move up a level. So if you signed up for yoga, you had to do HIIT. If you signed up for HIIT, you had to do Ironman. So at the end of it, I signed up for the Ironman, reluctantly, but I was happy about my decision until I got to the Ellington, Connecticut YMCA pool, and I swam one single lap. One 125-meter lap from one side of the pool to the other. Anybody besides me, you understand, you know how to swim, but you're not a swimmer. Does that make sense to anybody? Yeah, I could, if in a small pool, I could survive, right? But I'm not a swimmer. There's a big difference. But anyway, so I swam one lap and I panicked. I was out of breath. I was breathing heavy. I was panting. I drank pool water. The pool water was nasty, chlorine, and I panicked. And in my mind, I says, okay, I just did one lap. The length of this race, I'd have to go 84 times back and forth. I panicked. I said, this is impossible. I called my wife and I said, "Why, honey, I got to get out of this." And she's like, "Oh my God, David, you can do everything. You're so good at this." And I'm just like, this isn't working. Like, I got to get out of this. So I said, "I'll talk to you later." And I hung up on her, called Adam. I said, "Adam, I got to get out of this." And Adam says, "Hire a coach." I said, "What?" He said, "Hire a coach, you B word," and hung up on me. I was like, "What?" And I said, "They got swim coaches." So I went to the YMCA front counter and they connected me with Joel. So the next day, Joel shows up and says, "Okay, I want you to swim." So I swim one lap down and he watches me and he lets me rest, and I turn around and I swim back and he watches me, he gives me some tips on my whole swimming process and, you know, my stroke and all that. And then he says, "Okay, great. I want you to practice that for another 30 minutes after I leave, and then meet me here tomorrow morning." So I'm like, "Okay." So I do that and I practice. And then the next day I meet Joel and Joel shows up and I'm all excited because, you know, I practice, I could get back. So I swim back all the way down, and then I'm breathing heavy, but I hit the wall and I turn around and I'm swimming back to the other end. And I'm like, all proud of myself. Like, I just did 2 laps back and forth. And then I'm just about to grab the wall and Joel says, "Do another lap." And I was like, "What? Do another?" He's like, "Do another lap." I'm like, "Now?" He said, "Yeah, do another lap." And I was like, okay. So I turn around and I start pulling myself down back to the side. Now I'm breathing heavy. I'm like, and, you know, I'm pulling, and, you know, for you swimmers, my body was like this direction. That's not a good, when you're swimming, you should be like parallel to the water, or horizontal to the water. I mean, I was parallel like this way. Anyway, I'm pulling myself and I'm like, and I'm drinking water and I'm breathing heavy, and it was nasty. And I was so excited. I was just about to grab the other side of the wall, and Joel's like, "Swim back." And I was like, "What?" He said, "Swim back." And I was like, "I can't." He said, "Swim back." And he yelled at me. And I was like, "Holy cow." And I turned around and I started dragging myself back. And I mean, it was so bad. Like, I was just, my head was the only thing out of the water. And I was just, and pulling and drinking the water, and it was nasty. And I started panicking like I was going to drown. And then I realized I was actually past halfway, and it was only like 4 feet deep anyway. So I couldn't have drowned. And I dragged myself all the way back to the other end, and I grabbed the side, and I was panting like a dog. And Joel was like, "Good job." And I was like, "Thank you." And I just did 4 laps. And here's the thing. And then jump forward. And as I was leaving the YMCA that day, and what I realized is like, wow, I just did 4 laps. 3 days earlier, I did 1 lap and I was ready to quit. And I just did 4 laps. That's wild, right? But here's the even wilder thing. Here's the wilder thing with this whole story, okay, is I bet I could have went in there the first day and banged out those 4 laps. I bet I'm willing to bet if somebody said, "Hey, David, here's $1 million, you do 4 laps," I would have figured it out. I would have got it done because I was capable of doing it, but mentally in my mind, I gave up. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, we're all capable of doing stuff, but in our own mind, we're limiting what we do. All right. So I was capable, but I couldn't do it. Okay. But so what I learned from this, what really stuck out to me was that Joel pushed me to do things that I thought were beyond what I could do, things that I thought were, and here's the thing, in 8 weeks, I was banging 16 laps like nothing. I mean, it was still pretty ugly. Like, you should see me swim now. This morning, I think I got a new PR today, as a matter of fact, new personal record. Like, I'm a swimmer now, but Joel helped me have those breakthroughs. And it didn't just show up. It didn't just show up here, okay, at the finish line. So there you go. I completed the race. That's the Lake Placid 2018 Ironman, 70.3 finish line, Lake Placid, New York. Bang, coming through. Okay. But it showed up in my business. It showed up in my confidence. It showed up in other areas of my life. Eventually, I hired another coach named Courtney, who is a triathlon coach, and she helped me with all the other stuff, the running, all the other stuff that goes with doing these races. By the way, if anybody wants to join me, I'm doing the New York Ironman this September, baby. If anybody wants to join, let's go, 10X Glenn. So listen, I know my story was a little longer, but the reason I like to share that story is because I want you guys to realize that you can do so much more most times we give ourselves credit. Glenn, any thoughts on that story? And then we're going to open it up to questions.
No, I mean, I love the story because it all starts right here. I mean, you got to be open to the opportunities. You got to be open and accept the fact that the things are available for you, but it all starts right here. So when you know, us as a human beings, we always desire, we want this, we want that. And you know, since we desire those things, they'll come to you. But you have to be ready and open when the opportunity comes, take advantage of it. And this is one of those opportunities right here.
Love that. All right. So we are going to, I want to let you know, we're going to open it up for questions. We do have an opportunity for everybody on here, by the way. Glenn and I are doing a full 2-day workshop that's coming up. All right. It's going to be coming up on, it's coming up next week, the 8th and the 9th. And the VIP tickets to this workshop are normally $14.97, which I know is a low ticket price. It's a $6,500 workshop if you go out, take it out at headquarters, at our Grant Cardone headquarters. But Glenn and I want to pour into a few people. So what Glenn has offered to do as well, you tell him, Glenn, what else are you going to throw in today for people? Not only will you get the VIP for $9.97, because it's normally it's $14.97.
Yeah.
What else are you throwing in, Glenn?
Absolutely. Whoever is willing to take action on themselves today only, I will personally sit down with you via Zoom and I will build you a personal 2-step funnel for you to start generating leads into your business, just like Grant Cardone does. So literally, this is like a $3,000 offer that I'm giving it to you for free for whoever takes advantage of this offer today only.
Love that, Glenn. So for people that are willing to take advantage, and remember, people buy the same way you buy. So if you're the type of person that, oh my gosh, I got to think about it. I can't do that. Or that's how your clients are doing the same thing. So great opportunity to invest in yourself. You can go to the site and you can see the link itself, the funnel, the VIP is $14.97. And Glenn is actually including now a special 2-page funnel that he's going to build out for you, with you. And so this is a great opportunity for you guys to take advantage of if you want to join us. I'm also going to add you into our real estate community, our real estate membership, Real Estate University for 1 month, which is also a $197 value. We're going to add you in there for the month as well as a bonus. And the other thing the VIP gets you is 2 additional 90-minute calls. Now, if you don't want to do the VIP, I mean, if you're on here, obviously you need to do that. If you're watching this after the fact, then obviously you can sign up for the $9.97 and attend the workshop. All right. So let me do, like I promised, some Q&A. So let me go, Glenn, back and let's do some Q&A for these guys. So what questions does anybody have? We'd love to answer some questions for you guys. So either just raise your hand, or if you want to, yeah, just raise your hand and we'll call on you. So do we have any questions? All right. Well, Sam is going to drop a link. So it looks like Deb said, I missed what you did and got 7 people to respond. Oh, Deb, that was my, Deb, what I talked about was when I did a post on Facebook a few months back, and it was a hack I got from Jarek Robbins, and it was a what pisses me off post. And it was awesome. It was like, so you got to go take something that really upsets you or pisses you off and put it out there and say, hey, what really, so my post was, hey, you know what really pisses me off is people that say they're going to do something and then don't follow through, or people that say they're going to attend an event and then don't show up. Like, you know, but then I softened it up. I said, but I know sometimes you have great intentions and life happens and things happen. So we have a special workbook that will help you get control of your schedule and get control of those types of things where you may have signed up for something, but then other things got in the way. So to get access to this free workbook, DM me the word, I believe it was success. And 9 people messaged me back channel from them. And then I never did it again. That's what I was referring to. Okay. So, yeah, thanks for that question. I saw another question, in the chat. Let's see. I see another, so what are some of the ways and tools you use to obtain lead contact information? Yeah, absolutely. I use Vulcan 7. So I have a link, Sam, if you want to drop our link in the chat, as a matter of fact, if you use my link, you'll get your 4th month for free. And you can also get your 1st month for free if you don't take a listing. Go to vulcan7.com/path to mastery. And oh, by the way, you can message me if you want, message me in the back channel or send me a DM. I'm David at pathtomastery.net is my email address. I'm happy to send you details. We also have affiliates with other vendors with PropStream and some other ways to get access to people's contact information. By the way, if somebody's interested in doing FSBOs and expireds, I mean, that's how I built my business. So we have Real Estate University. Make sure you check out Real Estate University. There's a special offer right now to try it for 7 days. If you go to try.realestateu.club, you can jump into our community for 7 days and try it out. And you'll see these are the things we talk about every day. People like Armando, I talked about earlier. He took 5 listings, guys, in December from expireds and FSBOs. And I think he's already taken 2 so far. This is as if we're doing this in January. I think today's what, the 14th or something? No, today's not the 14th. Today's like the 2nd, right?
The 2nd. Yep.
Yeah. And I think he says he's already got 2 in his pipeline. So
That's
awesome. Good question. Any other questions? Well, we don't have a lot of questions coming in there, 10X Glenn. So any final thoughts you want to give to the people here listening? Let me make sure we put up
one more time. Any takeaways, any questions, you can go ahead and open your mic.
Yeah, good point.
We're here for you guys. So any questions, any takeaways, please share.
Good point. I'd love to hear some takeaways, by the way. So all right. Well, Glenn, it doesn't look like we have a lot of people that want to engage, which is fine. I hope you do better engaging with your clients than you are right here. Okay. Cause you want, you got to get uncomfortable sometimes. You want to do good in this space, right? That's if you look at commandment, which commandment is it, Glenn? Is number 8, right? No, I'm sorry. Which commandment is it right now? Frequency before greatness, right? Means you got to show up. You got to show up. You got to put it. Sometimes you just got to raise your hand and say something, even though you're nervous, even though you may not know exactly what to say. You just got to say, hey, yeah, you know what? Here's what I got from today. Then you're going to feel like, wow, I just did something. I just broke my comfort zone. I just got a little uncomfortable, Glenn. That's what it's all about, brother. You have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And Grant teaches us that when you have that gut feeling that you don't want to do something, that's the exactly point that you have to push forward. So if you feel like you're in obscurity, you don't want to talk, that's when you actually have to push even further and just go for it. Open the mic, ask questions, share share whatever it is that you want to share, because if you do it here in a simple thing, when it comes into the marketing, it will be easier for you to get out there and share your knowledge, share how is that you help, who do you help, how do you learn it? And people automatically will connect with you. It will build trust. So go ahead, you know what I mean? Get out of obscurity. If you got any questions, if you got any takeaways, we are here today for you. Love that. Yeah, I love that, Glenn. Again, if anybody's interested in our workshops, we do the workshops every 2 months. I have a live one coming up in March, by the way, if anybody wants to travel to Massachusetts and do the sales workshop with me live, that's happening. So a lot of great things going on. So if you're watching this after February 8th and 9th, then just message us, either myself or Glenn, and we'll talk to you about what we have coming up. If you're in real estate, then a no-brainer is to join our real estate community. And that said, just again, I want you to think about, money follows attention, right? Which is where we started. It's the most, you got to get somebody's attention. Gary V said this, I've had Gary on my podcast. I've had Grant on my podcast. How did I get Gary on my podcast? I got his attention. Some of you guys might know my story. Gary was doing an event in New York, and I literally took my book, my sales playbook, which I think is over at right here. I took my sales playbook. It was a brand new copy signed to Gary. And he was on the stage in front of 1,000 people. I literally walked up to the stage like this and put my hand out. I swear to God, put my hand out, and he grabbed the book. And for the next 15 minutes of his presentation, he was holding my book in his hand. That's how I connected with Gary V. I got his attention.
Wow.
And what Gary tells you, here's what Gary says. He says, if you want somebody to listen to your story, you have to first get their attention. All right.
Can you say that one more time?
Well, he says, if you want somebody to listen to your story, you have to first get their attention. But I want to make sure we honor Mr. Grant Cardone, who is the guy that we work for, and you know, just treats us like gold, right? Like takes care of us, you know. And I love what he says. You know, I'd rather have 1 million followers than $1 million, you know, and he helped me understand that. So that helps me think so much bigger. So that said, listen, I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you, Deb, for a nice remark in the chat. Thank you, Ramona. We appreciate you as well. Thank you, Steve. Yeah, thank you guys. Kim, thank you as well. We appreciate you guys being here. Again, don't forget, take advantage of this offer. If we can help you with anything, message me, David at pathtomastery.net. That said, any final words, Glenn, before we wrap it up today?
Nah, man, as usual, I'm always wishing you guys the best of success, health, and wealth. And if you really are ready to take your marketing to the next level this year, we have all the strategies and tools to give you, for you to, you know, market yourself, generate more leads, more traffic, more sales, increase your revenue. So wishing you guys the best. Have a wonderful day. Your success is our biggest commission, and we take that very seriously. So have a 10x day.
See that, Glenn, right there, bro? What's that say?
I love that. 10x.
Come on, man. Let's roll. All right, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks for being here today.
Thank